congratulations, everyone. Way before you've launched it, you've had your premiere. A lot of people are so excited about it, I'm sure. Quick question, you did this in 2010, right? The first time Masterclass was done by Opera House was
Carla?
2010.
When was the first masterclass?
2008.
2008.
2008,
2006 pa yan.
with Shirley here.
No,
No.
the first was
Baby Barreto.
Baby Barreto.
I get it. Okay, so the first time Masterclass was done locally was with Baby Beretta, and then there was a version with Sherry Hill.
Yes.
That was after. There was a Jay also did it before Sherry Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has had a long time. I was wondering because there was a conversation, I remember it around the time, if the actor playing Maria Callas is required to be an opera singer. Because at that time, Cherie obviously was not, and yet there were good reviews. So I was wondering, now you have Amenju, the woman who would do no wrong. So,
She has so many hidden talents. We're still waiting for her operatic debut.
I see one line.
so the actor playing Maria Callas is not required to be an opera singer at all. Am I correct?
No, yes, you're correct because, well, when she did the actual master class, she was still singing, I believe. But the way Terrence McNally wrote it is she was already wala ng boses. She had lost her voice by then.
Oh,
And that's part of the dialogue
that's right.
later on,
Sorry.
yes.
Oh.
So she does attempt at one point, and then she gives up because it's no longer the voice that was.
Okay.
So it is the only ones who've done it who were singers were Baby, me, and then abroad, neither of them could sing except for Patti LuPone and Tim Daly. Zoe Cladwell, the original, could not sing.
Yeah.
It's not required.
It's not required. No, it wasn't written for an opera singer.
But the three students, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. Yeah,
They-
they have to. They have to
Yeah,
be
so
singers.
just a follow-up question, that's enough. What was more of your priority, I guess this is for Jaime, for casting, what was more of your priority, the ability to sing?
Oh yeah,
Or the acting?
for the students, it obviously they had to sing, and they had to sing those particular arias. So when we auditioned them with the aria because it's very specific what arias they sing in the opera. Both arias that our sopranos sing were roles that Callas did perform, and so there were arias that she knew backwards and forwards. Well, obviously, he's not singing a soprano aria, but who knows? But he does sing an aria in which she's familiar because he sings it from Tosca, and one of Callas's great roles was Tosca.
Thank you, that's all for me.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, who's next? Yes, Dennis.
Yeah, I also heard that Faith Dunaway did the role.
Yes.
And she was even fired by Abby Lloyd Webber, and she couldn't sing in Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Do you consider, like, Faith Dunaway is known as a diva? Would you consider Maria Callas as a tragic victim or a fiery, strong woman? How are you going to play her? Because her love life is
Interesting question.
Interesting
She died very young.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
died, she was 53.
Yeah.
So the master class she conducted was 1971-72. She died in 77. So she was very young of a heart attack. They found her dead in her very sad life. And you will hear that in the
But
the
in
story.
connection to your question, are they mutually exclusive?
No.
Couldn't she be a very strong woman and yet be a tragic figure?
She was quite tragic. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
her
what
life
was-
was very sad.
That she was a strong woman? Yes. That shit happened? Yes.
Yeah, I think she was a combination of both.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis.
Yes, Jessica. On that side.
Yes.
I won't use mic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure.
I'm Jessica from Manila Bulletin, and congratulations. I I write for Liza, specifically the youth section. You mentioned the importance of arts and then the youth exposure to the theater and artwork. So how does the masterclass, why or how does the masterclass really resonate with today's youth, the storyline of it?
Well, first of all, it is you get a behind the scenes perspective, and you know everyone now loves behind the scenes things, and it was written that way. Like I said before, it's not a documentary. Terrence McNally had his own agenda, and we were just having this discussion that Terrence McNally watched a master class, but not by Callas. He saw it by another singer, and he thought, what an interesting idea. And then he combined the idea of the master class with a person who was, the epitome of opera at that time, which was Callas. Of course, you do see that Callas is of an older generation. Please forgive me, and she is teaching the younger generation. That for me is kind of self-explanatory. And hopefully when they realize the amount of work that goes into it, what is demanded, and through, of course, her monologues, what she sacrificed, it adds to the value of what art has. I think one of the reasons where art is sometimes glossed over is not because of lack of exposure to it, because there is an awful lot of people who are trying to do this, but a lot of the people do not realize the value of it. And I think that's one of the things that this play shows. It's literally blood and guts that an artist gives. O dato tutto.
O dato tutto a te.
O
gave
dato
everything
tutto a
to
te.
you, everything.
I gave everything to you. And that's Maria Callas's line. She tries to verbalize what it's like to share her art. And there are no better words.
To add to that also, what Maria Callas brought to the opera was drama. And this is said in all the interviews. In fact, Zeffirelli even said there's a joke in the opera world where it's divided between BC and AC, before Callas and after Callas. So she brought drama, so she brought acting to opera. And I think that's partially why she lost her voice. Because she was not just singing, she was acting. And that's what she's so hard on her students, is because they're just singing. And she keeps saying, what are you singing about? Which is actually anybody, because they were saying, but Mensch, it's opera. I don't know. Anybody, an artist will connect because it is about passion. It is about your craft. It is about being the best you can be in your particular craft. So she brings that to the table. And of course, she's misunderstood because she's very hard on the students. I mean, she really puts them down. And but she brought drama. And like I remember in my research, she has a line where she says, "How can I have rivals when nobody can do what I can do?" And I realized later on in my research, she did something no opera singer would do. She sang Traviata today and Tosca tomorrow, which nobody does because you never sing, one day after the other. And now I realize what she means, because she said, if you find a singer who can do that, then they can be a rival. So so she was like that, and I think that's what caused her voice to also go. She was singing material she shouldn't be singing.
I'd also like to add that a lot of the more successful opera singers in present day are standing on her shoulders, or are standing on the shoulders of people who stood on their shoulders, on her shoulders rather. So she does have this effect. As we have an opera singer here, let us turn to him for his his opinion, for his thoughts.
About the legacy of Callas, what she brought.
Oh,
To young people.
hello.
Project ka na lang.
Hello, Leonard.
Wow, really? Oh,
Yeah.
singer.
Modulation.
Modulation.
Saving my voice. Hello, Maria Canas. Well, as a person who studied classical singing at the University of the Philippines, legend for us is Maria Canas. And again, more than the voice, it's how she used that voice to do opera. And Tita Mencho is correct that when she sang, there was acting involved. So she would deliberately cause her voice to crack because the scene requires it. For example, the last note of Violetta in La Traviata, it was a B flat. She will sing the B flat. It's a high B flat, but with a crack because she's dying. For her, it is more important for the people to feel that the character is dying more than, oh, I can hit a beautiful B flat here with a pianissimo. So I think for me also as an artist, I because I'm also in musical theater, and it affected me that there's more than just the voice. You have to give the role. You have to let the people see the role more than just the voice, more than singing. And regarding to art, kanina, natanong, for the youth, I think art should not be exclusive just for the older people or for the educated ones. Kasi sinasabi nila, di ba, art is for the educated ones. No, I think art is for everybody. We should encourage art even to the young people because pag may art yung bata, marirealize natin na mas malalim siyang tao even if they are young. Mas may depth and mas may humanity. And funny because in the beginning, in the Greek pantheon, art is part of their subject. Hindi pwede mawala yung art. That's why it's art and humanities. So if there's humanity, but there's humanity if there's art. And at the end of the day, kung magkaroon man ng mga wars and whatever, matitira yung art. And that's why Maria Callas' role, Tosca, Visitarte, Visi d'amore. I live for the art. I live for love. Tenors are not that dumb.
That's the antithesis line that you have in the play.
Yeah, that's an actual lie. People think we're dumb. Why that is?
But just to put a cap on art, and this is a personal opinion, I always thought that art was an image of what mankind could be. It's an idea, musically or painting, literature, drama, theater.
And gusto ko lang pong i-add, the first time I met Tito Jaime, meron siyang question sa akin, up to now, hindi ko pa rin nasasagot. Hanging question, it's 5 years hanging. Sabi niya, Paramount. Paramount. How do you think the youth, why do you think, no, how will you make the youth appreciate opera?
I asked you that.
Yes, of course.
Even I know this story.
Up to now, wala pa rin akong answer, but ang answer ko nga is, hindi dapat siya exclusive. It can be appreciated by all ages. Siyempre, depende sa topic, but the music, the literature can be appreciated by everybody.
Actually, the real thing is how can you convince people to come, the youth to come to the opera, and you cannot say to hear me sing.
Correct.
Can we hear the opinion of Alexander?
Alex.
This is regarding the impact of Maria Callas and the education of the youth, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one of my favorite Maria Callas quotes, and I'm not sure if I'm quoting it exactly, but an opera begins long before the curtain rises, and it ends long after we go home to the theater. And it lives forever in my heart. So in that vein, Maria Callas really lived all the roles she sang, and she lived a full life, even with all the pain included in it. She really allowed herself to get vulnerable, and as an artist, I know how daunting that can be because on top of all the technical demands, we also have to wear our hearts on our sleeves in the theater, but that's precisely what she demands of my character in the play and of any singer, to allow themselves to be vulnerable and to just communicate that universal human experience. I mean, that's what opera is. That's what all art forms are. No matter what the medium, whether it be music or dance or visual arts, we all laugh and cry and get angry at the same things. And even if the details may vary, the feelings are the same. And this may seem like a very profound experience that could only come from the older generation who has lived through a lot, but you'll be surprised how intuitive the youth is when it comes to feelings. So a little bit about my process. Sometimes when I have performances coming up, I would do a test run in my alma mater. Sometimes a class of elementary school children, or middle school, or high school, and they are very receptive to it. For almost all of them, it is their introduction to classical music, and yet when I look out, I see the reactions immediately. They are so moved, and even by their questions, I could tell that they are so deeply engaged in the music. So I, like what everyone has said here, I don't think that art and opera are such foreign or hard to understand means of communication if we just open our minds and our hearts. No matter how old we are, I think there's something to appreciate.
Thank you. Louis?
Okay. Really not good at question and answer, but I try my best. So, as an accompanist, I'm just an observer. I just react on what they're doing. But what interests me is how Miss Lencho or how Maria Callas deal with the student and deal with the accompanist. That's very interesting because it's a different world. Okay, what we do is different from what they prepare. Okay, so what interests me is it's the same in the actual masterclass. When we accompany a student, like Alex, example, we'll run the whole aria, we'll run the passages, and that's it. And the actual masterclass, we run the aria, and then the teacher will say, "Oh, that's wrong. Do this," and that's it. That's the actual masterclass, usually. But what interests me in this play is how she deal with the students and how she deal with me. Okay, as you notice. Okay, I also have another line on Act 2 where we're so close. We're going close now in Act 2. But really, the role of the student and the teacher is the soul, and we're the skeleton. It's the soul that they're producing, and we support them. Because we produce harmony, we produce the big chords, and they're doing the high B flat or F or whatever. Notice that. And it's really a satisfying moment for us. Okay? Especially, I really love, I'm not biased, but I really love the B flat of the
Director.
not the director, but with Alman. And when you watch the show, you will see that. The B flat, it's the feeling.
Naku, pressure.
When I hit the big chord with Alman, I feel that I really sing the B flat as well. It's the feeling. It's the communication between the couples. Surprisingly, we call the collaborating artists. It's not just an accompanist.
Yeah.
In recitals, we say our collaborating artist is Louis Angelo Oca, not as an accompanist.
Yes.
It's a big word. It's a different. So that's my POV as an accompanist. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Tax.
Pressure. Can you sing the B flat?
Can you accompany it?
Sorry, it's a flat flat. Speaking of older generation, I think I come from there. Okay. I grew up watching opera, and my first exposure was Hamal and the Night Visitors. I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Because my grandparents, my parents, they're all music. But this is what I noticed, well, from what Arman said. Arman, I've seen him in musical theater and his voice is operatic, but he acts. But in the operas that I have seen, the legit operas I've seen, they sing, but they don't act. The feeling is in their voices, but not in the physical. You know? So there is a separation there between the actual acting and the singing acting. So do you think that this legacy of Maria Callas has gone over, like the opera singers who sing in operas really act now? And have you seen
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's an art. It is an art. It's an artistic choice, actually, to answer your questions. Many singers. There are singers who believe that you need to act on top of the music, and it works. There are singers who believe that you act through the music, and they make it work. There are also singers who believe the acting is already in the music and I don't have to do anything. That would actually also depends on the opera. So if you've got verismo, which is a term where it's very realistic and violent and all that, that's one kind of acting they would do. When you have the bel canto, where it is literally beautiful singing, and you cannot sacrifice the note for the acting. That's one of the things that made Callas so special, because not only did she do verismo, she did bel canto, she did Bellini, she did Donizetti, and that stuff is harder to act on because you cannot sacrifice. Oh, Callas worked at it. It is a school. You know, it's like with acting, the method, the non-method, the American way, the British way, the Adler, but the Russian way. So there are different schools, and most likely there are different teachers who will teach different methods.
I think that's also what separates the good opera singers from the not so good opera singers.
Well, again, it would depend on what
Yeah.
they're looking,
Yeah.
what they're looking for. In a lot of opera houses, the critics before I know of modern stuff, but the critics would sit up high where you cannot see the stage, and they